This is a Fox News alert. We're getting reports from Greg Palcott. An assault has begun at the scene in Toulouse, France, where a murder suspect has been holding off French riot police most of the day. This follows word that several explosions were heard in that area. A man identifying himself as affiliated with Al-Qaeda is suspected in 7 murders in that region. If we get any more breaking news, we'll bring Greg up live from France. We're following that. And, of course, you can see at the top of the Fox report if nothing happens between now and then. We're back with the panel talking about today on the campaign trail.
I think you hit a reset button for the fall campaign. Everything changes. It's almost like an Etch-a-Sketch. You can kind of shake it up and we start all over again.
Some people talk about it making pledges that are in stone, but the idea that a Romney pledge is on Etch-a-Sketch, this will just resonate. I think it will remind everybody in the conservative movement why they are very worried about a Romney presidency and about a Romney candidacy. And it really makes you doubt, it makes you wonder about his sincerity.
When the primary's over, you're going to see a very different Mitt Romney. We all knew that. They at least had the courage to admit what we all knew.
So Rick Santorum and Newt Gingrich are out on the trail with actual Etch-a-Sketches, talking to people in campaign events. This on a day when the Romney campaign was supposed to be touting a big win in Illinois and also a big endorsement. Jeb Bush released this statement. Primary elections have been held in 34 states. Now is the time for Republicans to unite behind Governor Romney and take our message of fiscal conservatism and job creation to all voters this fall. I'm endorsing Mitt Romney for our party's nomination. But it got so intense, late in the day, Mitt Romney had to talk to reporters.
Organizationally, a general election campaign takes on a different profile. The issues I'm running on will be exactly the same. I'm running as a conservative Republican. I was a conservative Republican governor. I'll be running as a conservative Republican nominee, or excuse me, at that point, hopefully, nominee for president. The policies and positions are the same.
So what about this, Steve? Is this just crazy because we're at this point in the campaign? Or does this Etch-a-Sketch somehow scratch an itch for the anti-Mitt Romney voters?
Yeah, I mean, we are nearing the end of the campaign. Mitt Romney has a commanding lead in the delegate count. Everything looks like it's heading in his direction. But this is one of these gaffes that, unlike so many of the fake gaffes that we've seen throughout this process, this strikes me as a real gaffe. I mean, you can understand what Eric Bernstrom was trying to say. He was trying to say,
of the whole season.
All of the stuff in the primaries, that's behind us. We're going to now concentrate on Barack Obama. The problem is the context of the question. The question was about whether Mitt Romney was going to be dragged too far to the right by Newt Gingrich and Rick Santorum. And to answer it that way suggests, yeah, we're perfectly willing to have him change positions again. And the irony of it is the Romney campaign has been so focused, I would say beyond anything else, to allow him to be called a flip-flopper. This was his problem in 2008. They've been attuned to it like nothing else. And here it is once again. And the problem is it reinforces this caricature. I mean, that was the way people thought of him, and that's a main charge that both Santorum and Newt Gingrich have made against him. And like the very poor comment, which reinforced the idea that he's wealthy and maybe out of touch.
And that was after the Nevada win.
Right. This is why that matters. This is why I think this stays for a while.
In fact, the campaign has done so much to prevent that flip-flopper kind of narrative that, in part it's why many people believe he's holding so firmly on to Romneycare and defending it. He could have easily at the beginning of the process said, you know what, maybe I made a mistake. But he didn't. And so what about this?
Yeah, I think you mix toy nostalgia, the 24-hour news cycle, and the internet, and you've gone viral. I mean, it's easily gimmickized. You can bring Etch-a-Sketches with you to events. So definitely stepped in it. The problem, like Steve says, the question was about ideology. Had the question not been about ideology, there would have been still a problem, but not to this extent. It is one sentence. I don't want to blow it up too big, but it does indicate a bit of a pattern, which is that the Romney camp steps on its own victories by making mistakes like this. And I think this one has the image has some cultural penetration. Everybody knows what an Etch-a-Sketch is, and I think that can be problematic.
I mean, the Santorum campaign was literally handing out Etch-a-Sketches to the crowd in the afternoon events.
Look, no doubt this is not what the Romney campaign wanted to be talking about today. And clearly the problem they're experiencing is well-deserved in that is the rap on their candidate. And that's just a fact of life. However, I don't think it rises to the gaffe level that the very poor comment did and some of the other things. One, because the candidate didn't say it, and that's always helpful. Number two, I think this is not the kind of thing that can or will really come back to haunt him in a general election the way some of the other things he has said can and will. I think outside of our circle, as much as everybody understands the Etch-a-Sketch, and I agree with you on that, most voters I don't think are going to get wrapped up in this the way they can with other things. Why this is problematic is, as you said, Jeb Bush endorses. Right. He comes off of a huge victory. All he needs to be talking about is basically, I'm the nominee, and this is another day where he squanders an opportunity to do that.
Although the Democrats desperately wanted to be included. Santorum and Gingrich were obviously on the trail holding up Etch-a-Sketches. The DNC released this late today.
Planned Parenthood, we're going to get rid of that. I was a severely conservative Republican governor.
Something tells me it's an ad we'll see again.
I think this does stay. I mean, remember, President Obama never actually said leading from behind. That was something that one of his staff said anonymously to a New Yorker reporter, and here it is. Everybody talks about it all the time. The problem, though, is, as illustrated in the DNC ad, is that Mitt Romney has not, I don't think, run to the right in this primary, even though the DNC suggests he has. So the proper answer to the question, as it was posed, why have you been dragged to the right, is we haven't been dragged to the right. We've run as a relative, sort of conventional Republican candidate. I would say his tax reform proposal isn't terribly bold. It's fine. None of these issues, with the possible exception of immigration, has he been to the far right, as the DNC suggests.
Maybe you can sell it as Etch-a-Sketch stimulus when their reports come out later.
Something tells me sales will be up. That's it for the panel, but stay tuned for a recap of a celebration this past weekend.